it's been an interesting journey really when it comes to figuring out who will be the man to take up the mantle after Rahul Dravid, because again, there's been so many former players and renowned coaches that have been linked to the job that it can be a little tough to keep a track on who exactly has been, let's say, interested, who's been contacted, who's just been rumored. There's a lot of stuff that's doing the rounds, but what we do know is that there have been a few who have emphatically ruled themselves out of contention. Reports suggested that one reason that current CSK head coach Stephen Fleming was not too keen was because he didn't want a full-time gig like that. Similarly, former Australia head coach Justin Langer himself ruled himself out of contention for the India head coach post because he too didn't want to be taking up a gig that intense. And now you can add another person to have actually ruled himself out of the gig, someone who many people were very, very keen to see take up the job, Ricky Ponting. Now, Ponting, who is currently the head coach of the Delhi Capitals in the Indian Premier League, both confirmed that he did in fact, let's say, get an approach, and he's one of the few people to actually confirm it directly, and he also gave his reasons as to why he did not necessarily want the gig. He said that, look, there were a few little conversations with the BCCI during the IPL just to get a level of interest from me as to whether I would do it. Now, it is worth noting that Ponting has been the head coach of the Delhi Capitals since what feels like forever at this point, since about 2018 if memory serves me right. But the simple fact of the matter is that this is a very part-time job. You can basically be a head coach for 2 months of the year. The rest of the time, you get that time to spend with your family or take up, let's say, commentary or punditry gigs. It's pretty good in that regard. And that is something that a lot of former players have now become more comfortable with in an era that is, let's say, more franchise dominant, because even if you're coaching in 2 or 3 franchise leagues, the short duration of the tournaments more often than not means you get plenty of time off anyway, and that perhaps is the main reason why he chose not to commit in this particular instance, whilst admitting that his own family members, when he consulted them, they said, listen, it sounds like a great gig, you should probably go for it. But his take was that a national head coach is a 10 or 11 month of the year job, and as much as I'd like to do it, it just doesn't fit into my lifestyle right now. So that's what he's saying. He's like, look, it sounds great, but it is a massive commitment that has to be made, and the way my lifestyle is right now, it just does not fit into it. So he's basically said, listen, I'm also out. I don't think that I would necessarily be wanting to, commit myself to this kind of a gig. And truth be told, it's a logic I understand. Why would anyone in today's day and age want to be committing to a job that would keep them on the road for 10 months in the year? The only 2 months of free time that an Indian head coach will be getting is during the IPL, because as the Indian head coach, you can't be coaching any other franchise. It would come under conflict of interest. Now, this of course begs the question, do you think the BCCI should maybe look to tweak their expectations and try, let's say, a split coaching format that has been done, of course now in many nations, England being one prime example, or do you think they should stick to the guns and say, no, we want one head coach for all 3 formats and we're going to stick it out until we find the man that we want and who, more importantly, accepts our demands? I personally think a split coaching model might not be the worst idea in the world, would help you specialize as well, but the BCCI have made it clear they want one man for 3 formats. What do you guys think? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.